You know what terrifies me the most? It's not exams. It's not even job interviews. It's that moment when I have to speak English in front of people and my mind just goes completely blank.
And then your heart starts racing, right? You know the words, but they just won't come out.
Exactly. And the worst part is, I studied English for years. I can read it, I can write it, but when it's time to actually speak,
You freeze. Yeah, I've been there. And honestly, most people learning English have been there too. But here's the thing. It's not about how much English you know. It's about how comfortable you feel using it.
Okay, so today we're talking about something that affects so many of us. How to actually speak English with confidence. Not perfectly, not like a native speaker, but confidently.
Right, and I want to be really clear about what we'll cover today. By the end of this conversation, you'll understand why you feel nervous when speaking English, what actually builds real confidence, and some very practical things you can start doing today. Not someday, today.
I love that because I think a lot of us are just waiting to feel ready, you know? Like, maybe after I learn 5,000 more words, then I'll feel confident.
Yeah, and that day never comes because confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being okay with not knowing everything.
Wait, that sounds backwards though. How can I feel confident if I don't know enough?
Let me ask you this. When you speak in your native language, do you know every single word that exists in that language?
Well, no, of course not.
But do you feel confident speaking it?
Yeah, I do.
So confidence isn't about perfect knowledge. It's about accepting that you're learning, and that's completely fine. When you speak your native language, you don't worry if you forget a word. You just say it differently. You explain it another way.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. So I should treat English the same way?
Exactly. But I know it's easier said than done, so let's break this down. First, we need to understand where this fear actually comes from.
Okay, I'm listening.
Most people are scared of speaking English because they're afraid of making mistakes. And why are they afraid of mistakes? Because they think people will judge them.
I mean, that's true though. I've seen people laugh when someone makes a grammar mistake.
Sure, some people do that, but here's what you need to know. Those people are not your audience. The people who matter, the people you actually want to talk to, they're not judging your grammar. They're listening to your message.
But what if I'm in a professional setting, like a job interview or a meeting? Won't they judge my English then?
They'll judge your communication skills, yes, but communication isn't just about perfect grammar. It's about clarity. It's about confidence. I've seen people with perfect grammar fail interviews because they sounded unsure, and I've seen people with simple English succeed because they spoke clearly and confidently.
So confidence matters more than perfection?
In most real situations, yes. Think about it this way. If you go to a restaurant and the waiter has an accent, do you care as long as you get your food?
No, not really.
Same thing in professional life. People care about results, not your accent or your grammar. They care that you can communicate your ideas.
Okay, that actually makes me feel a bit better. But I still have this problem. Even when I know what I want to say, my brain just freezes up.
Right, and that's a very specific problem with a very specific solution. Your brain freezes because you're trying to do too many things at once.
What do you mean?
When you speak, you're trying to think of the idea, translate it to English, check your grammar, find the right words, worry about your pronunciation, and watch people's reactions, all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It's exhausting.
Of course it is. No one can do all that smoothly. So here's what confident speakers do differently. They separate these steps.
How?
They practice the basic structure so much that it becomes automatic. Like when you drive a car, you don't think about every tiny movement, right? You just drive.
Yeah, it becomes natural after practice.
Same with speaking. When basic sentence patterns become automatic, your brain has space to focus on the actual conversation. You're not struggling with how to say it anymore.
But how do I make it automatic? Just by studying more?
Not studying, practicing, and there's a big difference. Studying is when you read about grammar rules. Practicing is when you actually speak, even if it's just to yourself.
Wait, speaking to myself? Like alone in my room?
Yes, and I know it sounds weird, but it works. Because when you're alone, there's no pressure. No one is judging you. You can make mistakes and correct yourself.
I've actually never tried that. I always thought I need someone to practice with.
Having someone is great, but you don't always need them, especially in the beginning. When you practice alone, you build the foundation. You get comfortable hearing your own voice speaking English.
Okay, but what would I even talk about when I'm alone?
Anything. Talk about your day. Describe what you see around you. Explain something you learned recently. The topic doesn't matter. What matters is that you're using English without fear.
That actually sounds doable. I could try that.
Good. Now, let me share a small story with you. This might help you see things differently.
Sure, I'm listening.
There was this guy, let's call him Rahul. He was working at a call center, taking customer support calls. His job required him to speak English all day, but he told me he was terrified every single day for the first 2 months.
2 months? That's a long time to be scared.
Yeah, it was. He said his hands would shake before every call. He would write down full sentences to read because he was so afraid of forgetting what to say.
Oh, wow. I can imagine how stressful that must have been.
Very. But here's where it gets interesting. One day, a customer called with a really unusual problem, something Rahul had never heard before. He didn't have a script for it. He couldn't write anything down fast enough.
Oh, no. What did he do?
He panicked at first, but then, because he had no other choice, he just started talking. Simple words, short sentences. He asked questions to understand the problem. He explained the solution step by step.
And did it work?
Not only did it work, but the customer thanked him at the end, said he was very helpful and patient. And Rahul realized something important that day.
What was it?
That his simple English was enough. He didn't need fancy words, he didn't need perfect grammar, he just needed to be clear and helpful.
That's actually really inspiring. So he just needed one moment to change his mindset?
Sometimes that's all it takes. One moment where you realize you can do it, but you have to put yourself in that situation first.
Okay, so I'm starting to understand the mindset part. But what about practical things, like what can I actually do starting today?
Right, let's get into that. First thing, and this is very simple, start thinking in English.
Wait, like all the time?
Not all the time, but whenever you remember. When you're doing everyday things, making tea, walking to the bus stop, scrolling on your phone, just narrate it in your head in English.
Like I am making tea now?
Exactly. Or, I'm waiting for the bus. It's late today. I should have left home earlier. Simple stuff. This trains your brain to form English sentences quickly.
And I can do this silently, right? Like I don't have to say it out loud if I'm in public?
Of course, in your head is fine. The point is to make English thinking a habit, because when English thinking becomes normal, English speaking becomes easier.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second thing?
Second, talk to yourself out loud when you're alone. We mentioned this before, but I want to be specific about how to do it.
Okay, how?
Pick one simple activity, maybe cooking or getting ready in the morning, and just describe what you're doing while you do it, like a cooking video, but just for yourself.
Oh, like those YouTube videos where people show their morning routine.
Exactly like that. You can even pretend you're making a video. It makes it more fun. Say things like, okay, so now I'm brushing my teeth. I use this blue toothbrush. It's very old. I should buy a new one.
That actually sounds fun. I could do that.
And here's the best part. You can pause, you can make mistakes, you can laugh at yourself. No pressure at all. You're building comfort with speaking.
I like this. What's next?
Third thing, find one person, just one, who you can practice with regularly. Not a teacher necessarily, just someone who also wants to practice.
Like a language partner?
Yes, but make it very casual. You could have a 10-minute call twice a week. Just chat about simple things. How was your day? What did you eat? And what are you planning for the weekend?
And it doesn't have to be formal conversation.
Not at all. In fact, informal is better because that's when you really learn to think fast and speak naturally. You're not preparing answers, you're just talking.
Where would I even find someone like that?
There are apps for language exchange, or even online communities. Sometimes you can find people on social media who are also learning. You'd be surprised how many people want the same thing you want.
Okay, I could try that. I'm a bit nervous about reaching out, though.
Start with one message. That's it. Just introduce yourself and say you're looking for someone to practice English with. The worst that can happen is they say no, and then you try someone else.
Fair point. What's the fourth thing?
Fourth, record yourself speaking once a week.
Oh, I hate hearing my own voice, though.
Everyone does at first, but this is really important. When you record yourself, you can hear what you actually sound like. You notice things you don't notice while speaking.
Like what?
Maybe you speak too fast when you're nervous, or maybe you pause too much, or maybe you actually sound better than you think. You can't improve what you don't observe.
So I should record myself and then listen back.
Yes, and don't be harsh on yourself when you listen. Just notice, that's all. Notice what you want to improve, but also notice what you're doing well.
What should I even record? Like, what should I talk about?
Keep it simple. Answer one question every time you record, like, what did I learn this week? Or what am I grateful for today? Just speak for 2 or 3 minutes. That's enough.
2 to 3 minutes? That feels long.
It goes faster than you think, and after a few weeks, you'll notice you're getting more comfortable. You might even want to speak longer.
Okay, I'll try it. What's the fifth thing?
Fifth, stop translating everything word for word in your head.
Oh, but I do that all the time. How do I stop?
By learning to think in simple English patterns instead of translating complex thoughts. If you can't say something in English, say it simpler. Use the words you know.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, let's say you want to say something like, I'm contemplating whether I should pursue higher education, but you don't remember the word contemplate or pursue.
Yeah, that would stress me out.
Instead, just say, I'm thinking about studying more. Same idea, simpler words, clear message.
Oh wow, that's so much easier.
Right? You don't need fancy words to communicate well. In fact, simpler words are often better because everyone understands them.
I think I've been trying too hard to sound impressive.
A lot of people do that, but impressive speaking isn't about big words. It's about clear ideas delivered with confidence. A simple sentence said confidently is always better than a complex sentence said nervously.
That's really good advice. I feel like I've been approaching this all wrong.
You haven't been doing it wrong. You just didn't know these things yet, and that's okay. That's why we learn.
So, let me see if I understood everything. I should think in English daily, talk to myself out loud, find a practice partner, record myself weekly, and stop trying to translate everything perfectly.
Yes, exactly. And remember, you don't have to do all of this perfectly from day one. Start with 1 or 2, build the habit, then add more.
Which one should I start with?
Start with thinking in English. It's the easiest because you can do it anywhere, anytime. No preparation needed. Then add talking to yourself when you're alone. Those 2 things will build a strong foundation.
And how long before I start seeing results?
Honestly, you'll notice small changes within 2 weeks if you practice daily. Not huge changes, but you'll feel a bit more comfortable. Within a month or 2, you'll definitely notice you're speaking more freely.
2 weeks doesn't sound too bad.
It's really not. And here's something important to remember. Progress isn't always obvious. Some days you'll feel like you're improving fast. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's completely normal.
So I shouldn't give up if I have a bad day.
Exactly. Bad days happen to everyone. Even people who speak English fluently have days where words don't come easily. It's part of the process.
That makes me feel better. I always thought I was the only one struggling.
Not at all. Everyone who learned a new language went through this. The only difference between people who become confident speakers and people who stay scared is that confident speakers kept going even when it was uncomfortable.
Okay, so before we wrap up, can we just quickly go over the main points again? I want to make sure I remember everything.
Of course. So, first main point, confidence in speaking English doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being comfortable with what you know and okay with what you're still learning.
Right. I don't need to be perfect.
Second point, your brain freezes when you try to do too many things at once. The solution is to practice basic patterns until they become automatic. That's what makes speaking feel natural.
Practice until it becomes automatic. Got it.
Third point, simple English is enough. You don't need fancy vocabulary or complex grammar to communicate clearly. Clear and simple always wins.
Simple is better than complicated.
And fourth, real confidence comes from actually speaking, not just studying. You have to practice, even if it's just with yourself at first.
Practice by actually speaking, not just reading about it.
Exactly. You've got it.
I feel like I have a much clearer plan now. I was so confused before about where to even start.
And that's the thing, right? When you're confused, you don't take action. But now, you know exactly what to do. Even if you just pick one thing from what we talked about today and do it consistently, you'll see progress.
I think I'll start with thinking in English and talking to myself. Those feel the least scary.
Perfect. Those are great starting points. And remember, be patient with yourself. Learning to speak confidently is a journey, not a race.
Yeah, I need to remember that. I'm always in such a hurry to improve.
Most people are, but real, lasting confidence is built slowly. It's built through many small moments of speaking, even when it feels awkward. Over time, awkward becomes comfortable. Comfortable becomes natural, and natural becomes confident.
I really like that. Awkward to comfortable to natural to confident.
That's the path, and you're already on it just by listening to this conversation and thinking about how to improve.
Thank you so much for this. I feel genuinely motivated to start practicing now.
I'm glad, and I want to leave you with one last thought. Every confident English speaker you see today was once exactly where you are now, nervous, unsure, making mistakes. The only difference is they didn't let fear stop them.
So if they could do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely. You already have everything you need. You just need to give yourself permission to start, to make mistakes, and to keep going.
I will. I'm going to try this week, even if it's just small steps.
Small steps are perfect. Consistency beats intensity every time. And if you're listening to this right now, wherever you are, I want you to think about one thing. What's one small action you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today.
Maybe just think in English for 10 minutes?
Perfect. See, you already know what to do. Just start there. And if this conversation helped you in any way, keep learning with us. We're here to make your journey easier, one conversation at a time.
Yeah, and honestly, just knowing that other people feel the same way I do makes such a difference. I don't feel so alone in this anymore.
You're definitely not alone. There are millions of people around the world working on the same thing right now. You're all on this journey together.
That's comforting. All right, I think I'm ready to start. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. And remember, confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. One word, one sentence, one conversation at a time.